For those that were in my were here for first service, I won't go back. Go and listen. Sorry, my story plenty. Season film. So I want to talk about how I started my business. When I started my business, I stumbled on it. No, no. I've explained in the morning. Go and listen. And then, like the people that knew me then, I used to harass everybody. I was in the choir in Redeem, Jesus Embassy. And then one day I saw this hotelier, Mr. Ayodele, and I said, and I was at the bus stop. Yes, I wanted to take a cab somewhere. And he saw me now parked. When he saw me, he said, church girl, come. And I entered the sky and I said, I've been looking for any one of you. All these songs that you people sing, we don't know it. Come, so I've listed out some. That man is very blunt. I love him. Yes, I've listed out these songs. You will teach me today. Where are you going to? I said, I'm going to Akpata. Hey, that's good. I'm going to Lafia Hotel. So you would. This is that thing that pastor used to say, preparation meets opportunity. He now said, oh, you don't have a name? I said, okay, let's coin something. Let's look for something. And I said, he was just suggesting names. And I said, I did not put limited though. So when I got there, he laughed. I said, Uncle, my journey, me, unlimited venture. And I said, you know you're supposed to register. I said, do I need to register for this one? He said, okay, we'll run it. I said, okay. And I said, okay, so how much are you selling this bedsheet? Meanwhile, I've gone to meet my auntie that supplied. That one said, she does not have my time. I said, hey, Oluwa, what will I do? But I used to sell BK, Boskoro. When I was in, don't laugh. I started business. I like money. I think I started selling Boskoro when I was in primary school. You know that I did business in my house for like 2 years. My dad did not know. It was only between me and my mom. I used to hawk. You know, people used to look at us like two girls, as two children. And we're better off. At least we're not really, really poor, but we are better. So they used to look at us. Then my mom is very, very prim and proper. She doesn't talk to many people. She's always by herself and all of that. So they used to look at us as like, how am I? But me, I shall want to drag our family name. I'll be saying, I sold water. I sold bread. I sold plantain chips. You know, when they started pure water, we were the ones that they called under Molete Bridge to have a meeting to say, I'm not joking. They came to call us, do you think pure water will sell? Because at that time, we were selling water for one naira. And they wanted to sell pure water for 5 naira. So we were the one they called under the bridge. We'll be making decisions for... And we're making... So it was dew water then. And they were now asking us, do we think, can we try it? Can we... And we said, okay, we will. And that was how we started. So, I had started business, so... Now I've forgotten what I was saying. Holy Spirit. Yes. So, thank you very much. So, when he now finished everything, he now said, so how much are you going to sell? Did he say, how much are your bed sheets? I said, this is how much I'm selling. This one is 2,500. This one is 3,000. Because he now said, okay, no, we will not buy like that. You are selling to us. We have tailors. So how much will he say? How many yards? And then, I told you I read a lot. Before I went for that meeting, I had gone to cyber cafe in school. I was still in school. Okay, I was in 100 level in school. I had gone to cyber cafe. I had gone to Google. In fact, I didn't know how to pronounce duvet. So I used, on Oxford, they will write pronunciation. So that was, so I would not go and call it duvet. I had done all my assignments. I've done everything. So when I got there, and I said, but the only thing I forgot to do was pricing. So he now said, so how many yards? So I asked, then I went to election lawyer. I've spoken to people. But I didn't know the difference between meter and yard. So he now told me that they were going to buy a meter. I said, okay, it's fine, no problem. And that they don't have money, they will not pay me. I said, hey, I don't have money, I'm a student. So I'm going somewhere with this story. So I said, okay, fine. He now said, so how much are you going to pay? I said, He said, okay, you know what? I will help you. How much do they sell it in the market? I was like, boy, you say you want to dupe me, ni? Which one is this one? I said, well, I don't know anything. Let me just, it doesn't matter. I don't have to make money from this first one. Let me just do it. I said, they sell it. This is how much they sell it. And I said, okay, let me check what others dropped, because I want you to do this, because this is leading me somewhere. And I said, okay, sir. So he now brought out others. He now said, can you write an invoice? I said, okay, yes. He now said, you cannot. Let me show you. He now brought us different samples and told me the different ways that I could do it. My first invoice was written in his office. We agreed on the percentage. He said, you see this one has written 820. This one wrote, see, we will not give this one. This is the person who will likely give, but maybe we want to price it. But I will now bring your own. I will say you are young, you are premium, that I want to step up. You will help us to get premium. I said, forget. I overheard it yesterday. So he now said, so what would you? I said, but daddy, you just go. He said, I be conscious money. I said, daddy, give me that one. I will return it. And dad said, are you sure this thing will pay? I said, daddy, one thing is sure. If I don't make profits, I will return this money. If there's anything that I try, I'm not 100% on. But if there's anything that I try to do, is to keep my words, irrespective of to anybody, even if it's my father, anybody. I have small feelings, but I try. And I said, daddy, the worst that can happen. So my dad now said, what's the worst that can happen? I said, the worst that can happen is that I will buy it. I will not make profits. But the hotel will pay, because I know the difference between meter and yard, like I said.